On today's show, we discuss the importance of unlearning what you've learned in school. And we discuss the difference between formal education and practical education, while also breaking down what two of our conference attendees learned at our last in-person Thrivetime Show workshop.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrivetime Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, 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 and yes! Thomas, you're back inside the box that rocks, my friend. How are you?
I am great. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I'm excited you're here today on the show, and I know that you traveled via Tesla to get here to, or did you fly in this time?
Nope, drove.
You drove?
Tesla. The Tesla drove me.
And can the Tesla get you to Tulsa on one charge, or do you have to stop multiple times?
It's close, but it can get about 20 miles left after the drive.
Now, if it's really windy, does it require 2 charges?
Windy or cold, you have to go through Oklahoma City and adds about 2 hours.
Really?
Yep.
Is it still worth it in your mind?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, for the listeners out there that don't know who you are and what you do for a living, can you share who you are and what you do for a living?
Yeah, my name is Thomas Crosson again. I own Full Package Media. We are a real estate photography, drone videography, 3D tour company with locations in Dallas, Texas and Austin, Texas, and we'll be franchising here starting in 2020.
So you're from the great state of Texas.
That's correct.
And will you share with the listeners out there that don't know, how long have you and I worked together, and how would you describe our working relationship, both good or bad, you know?
Yeah, so we've been working together for about 3 years now. Just hit 3 years, I think, about a week ago. So, our relationship is a coach and business relationship, also a mentor-type relationship. I get told that I'm wrong at times, and kind of I told you so, but that's what it's all about.
Now, you are working right now on the franchise disclosure document. And you now, I took the original one and cleaned that dude up and just dozens of hours invested into cleaning up that paperwork. But I wouldn't be helping you franchise if your company wasn't already profitable. Could you share with the listeners out there about what your business does and kind of your path to growth maybe the last couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely. So the kind of core service of what we do is photography, videography, 3D tours, and other marketing services for primarily residential real estate agents. That's about 95% of what we do, and then the rest of the 5% being commercial photography for different venues, event spaces, that sort of thing. But mostly residential real estate, and we've grown in the past 3 years. Since when I started it was just myself and had pretty much no idea what I was doing. Now we have a team of about 21 photographers, full-time call center staff, and this year we're on track to do a little over $1 million in sales.
And so your first year, you did about how much in sales your first year?
About 400.
And your second year?
About 880.
And then this year you should be at what number?
On track to do about 1.2.
And what kind of profit margin are you trying to stay at for your own business? Are you focused on a 10% or a 30%? I know like Shaw Homes was in attendance. They do a 6% profit margin. What is your profit percentage that you aim to achieve?
Yeah, our aim is right at 25%. We're a little bit lower than that right now, about 20 to 22%, because we invest a lot of money back into the business do the franchising process and software development to kind of help us grow and scale.
When you say reinvest in the business, how much of that is the barbecue budget?
The barbecue budget a couple years ago was quite significant, about 6,000 miles of driving to visit the top 50 barbecue places in all of Texas.
This just in. Now, Thomas, how are you still spelling your name before I begin to interrogate our next guest here?
Thomas is pretty easy, but Crosson is the one that...
How do you spell that?
Crosson instead of E-N.
O-N, really?
That's correct.
Unfortunately, your name is misspelled in many, many books.
That's quite a shame.
So, nice. All right, now Jennifer, welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, we're so excited. Now, you flew in from Houston, am I correct?
Correct.
And is it a direct flight, or do you have to make a connection?
I made sure it was a direct flight. Most of them are not, but I worked it around. I have a hard time navigating in my own city, so I wasn't going to try to navigate in airports.
Now, did you fly in on Southwest, or what airline did
Southwest.
you? Okay. Now, could you share with the listeners the name of your business and what you do?
I own Legacy Home Decor. It's a retail storefront in Pearland, Texas, and we sell home decor and furniture.
What would make it different? I think when some people think of home decor, they're thinking right away, okay, that's a Hobby Lobby. What makes your store different than like the big chain like a Hobby Lobby?
Well, we have about half of the store is handmade home decor from local artisans, and
Cool.
then the other half would be more of your manufactured products. So we kind of have both in there, so you can get a little bit of both and mix them up.
And if the listeners out there wanted to learn more about your website and the products that you sell, can they buy products? Can anybody all around the world buy your products?
They sure can. We ship all over, and
Really?
the website is shoplegacydecor.com.
Shoplegacydecor.com.
Correct.
All right, so you guys both came to the workshop. Jennifer, this would be your first time attending a workshop. And Thomas, you've been to how many workshops now?
Man, probably 6 or 8 now.
Okay, and so I'd love to get your take, and then I would like to start with you, Thomas. That way Jennifer can one-up you. Because anytime we have a
Sounds
female
great.
guest, they're always just a little bit smarter than the male guests anyway.
That's always true.
But when you go first, she can show some separation and really just be able to show that's all he has, and I've got this much more. So I'll let you go first there, Thomas. So what did you get most out of this conference, this past conference, or what did you like most about it?
Yeah, so each conference is a little bit different, and that's kind of what's great about coming back, going to so many, is you kind of get a little bit different content material out of each one. I think one thing that this conference really showed was that it's not as much about the individual people or that business, the individual businesses. It's all about the systems and the processes, because you come to these conferences and you see these kind of testimonials from different clients that work with the Thrivetime Show, and that no matter what the business is, whether it be solar panels or home building or photography or home goods sales, it doesn't matter what it is. If you follow the kind of process that the Thrivetime Show teaches, it'll work.
One thing that always blows my mind is when you're at the conference and I notice how similar all of the successful people are. That's probably the one thing that it blows my mind, is regardless of their race or their religion, they're always on time.
Yep, that is.
And regardless of their race or their religion, they're always taking notes.
And for anyone who's not been, that all the conferences start at 7 a.m., which is your other conferences out there with unsuccessful people probably start at 10 or maybe noon on Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of them do. And I've noticed that the people who are always successful are ones who are already driven.
Yep.
They would call themselves self-starters. Others would refer to them as self-starters. They're kind of alpha. They just get stuff done, and they're taking notes.
Yep.
And I find
All
that
the
the
time.
people that don't have motivation and that can't seem to get there on time are the ones that don't do well. Have you noticed that phenomenon?
It's funny, I don't notice it at the conference because typically those humans are not there.
Yeah, I've noticed that's an interesting phenomenon. I will say we had one gentleman that came to the conference, and I spoke to him just briefly, and he was wanting to know, how much time we're going to focus on motivation. I said, well, everybody here should be thoroughly motivated. We focus on the execution of the proven path, not how we feel about the path, but the execution. We focus on getting it done, the application of the knowledge. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that. A lot of conferences I've been to, it's always, 2/3 motivation, 1/3 sales pitch. And I think he was expecting that, because he said, it's still worth it, though, because you always get one good idea. And then he came up to me at the end of day 2, and he's like, I've got a book of ideas now. So I think that's a big. Is that different than what
that's definitely different than other kind of conferences or even other podcasts that are out there, where it's all about motivation and how you feel. And at the end of the day, no matter how you feel, if you don't get Google reviews, if you don't make cold calls, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, if you don't do a good job, it doesn't matter how motivated you are. You're still not going to have a successful company.
Now, Jennifer, what is your last name?
McDougald.
Mick. How do you spell that there?
McDougald.
McDougald.
Yes.
It's almost like it's a past tense.
It's actually I didn't pronounce it right when I was dating my husband for like a month before he told me. He's
Really?
So nice.
Nice.
It's complicated, so I expect people to get it right.
On average, it takes Clay 3 years to get your last name spelled right.
True,
So good
true.
luck.
I'm working on it now. You have attended the conference for your first time. How would you describe the conference, and maybe what are some of the things you learned at the conference?
Actually, I learned a lot. I really enjoyed the conference. I, agree that it's a great conference for people who don't want to go to the pep rally, who really want to go to class and learn something. So I, had learned a lot over the podcast over the last few months, but I really got to, at the conference, come in and kind of do a deep dive on learning more in depth about, things that you can only cover topically on the podcast. So it was really great to have, some thorough explanations on how to execute some of it.
Now, what were some things that you took away? I know there's so much in the Boom Book. There's a lot of specifics. But for anybody out there who's on the outside listening right now, who has a company, who has a business, and they're on the kind of that threshold, they're going, I want to attend, but is it worth flying from Houston? Is it worth making the trip? But what did you take away from the conference?
It absolutely was worth the trip, and I would definitely suggest that others come and do the same, because you can only learn so much from podcasts. You can get topical knowledge but as far as learning how to put things into play and actually being able to go and fully exercise it and implement it, the deep dive really did help me a lot with that. Specifically, the side of it that used to really intimidate me about the business, the SEO, the understanding how to run ads. I'd run ads, but none of them were working, and so just getting that technical information that I can actually use, and I'm not so intimidated by that anymore. And I feel like I can go back and implement it now.
I always tell our clients, I kind of refer to it as the search engine optimization myth busters kind of a thing, because I think there's a lot of people that feel like only an Amazon or a Yelp or a Nike could ever possibly rank.
Right.
And I don't think they realize that the folks who made Google, Larry and Sergey, actually made it so that they made it for the little guy. So that, because back in the day, if you wanted to beat a big business, you had to buy the bigger Yellow Page ad or more commercials and they wanted to make it where you could really go out there and wage war. That's what is exciting for a business like yours, Jennifer, is that you could go, you could be the next pioneer woman in your own way. And that's just fun to see that. Thomas, when you discovered how search engines first worked, walk us through what you were thinking. Were you thinking, A, this probably won't work, and then B, it definitely will not work, and then holy crap, it's working? Or tell us, walk us through what you were thinking when you first heard about how search engines work.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the big companies and the kind of misconception that it's only meant for the Nikes, the Amazons, the Apples of the world to be top of Google, because that was totally my thought, my opinion when we first started. I remember having that conversation of like, well, we need to focus on referrals and how to do the best networking, because that is what matters in our industry.
Yep.
And you're like, just trust me, it'll take time, but we'll get there. And it's definitely not a overnight thing, but nothing that's truly successful is. And it was years and years. We started seeing results off of Google probably about a year into is where it really started picking up traction. And now it's like every day we get a lead from Google.
I bet you it was about 300 articles in before we saw any success.
Probably
300 pages
so
of
was
content.
Probably about 6 months of my pushback before
I think it took about 300 articles, though, to do it. And I think that Jennifer, as you were learning how Google works and meeting people at the conference who benefit from it and people who have benefited from it for years, what were some of the thoughts going through your mind as you're hearing how Google works?
Well, I was actually really relieved when I found out how it worked, because I always thought it would take, like these big companies have deep pockets to be able to end up getting my business that high on the ranking. And so to find that there was another way to do it, just with some sweat equity and commitment, then I would be able to actually get up there and compete with, competitors I wouldn't be able to normally compete with.
Now, you were able to get an insane amount of reviews. You have a very loyal customer base that really enjoys the products that you sell. How many reviews were you able to gather in just one day?
In one day, we were able to get 141 Google reviews.
That is unbelievable. 141 in one day.
Yeah.
Amelia came into the meeting and she just could not get over it. She was just like, this lady is just, we have a lot of clients that do really, really well on gathering reviews. But all in one day, that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm pretty competitive. I've been in the coaching program for like 24 hours, and I said, okay, tell me the top number. What's the highest number? And she told me it was, I think, 35 at the time.
Yep.
I said, okay, well, tomorrow we're going to beat that.
Bam.
She's like, tomorrow? I said, yeah, tomorrow.
And how did you email your folks? Did you call them? What was your plan?
So I have a group on Facebook where we have more of a community. We kind of interact a little more than we do like on a personal level than we do like say on the main business page.
Got it.
And they're my tribe. You know, if I need something, they're there. If you know, it's a sense of community. They followed me around for a few years. They're loyal supporters. And basically, you know, it wasn't about me getting the Google reviews. It was about, you know, I asked them, are we going to let their customers beat our customers? And so my customers are competitive as well, and they decided they wanted to beat the top Google review for the other company, so they beat their custimers. And like I said, it wasn't about me. It was about them versus them.
That is awesome. Now, Thomas, a lot of people come to the conference and say they're having a hard time finding good people. A lot of people will come to the conference from all over the country and say, my big issue is I can't find people. I'm here from California, and I have an auto detailing company, and I love it, but I just can't find good people. I hear another person say, I'm loving my business. Sales isn't a problem anymore. By the way, once you solve your marketing problems, it becomes a human resource problem. Yep. A lot of people come to the conference saying they can't find good people. When you first heard about the group interview system that we teach, what was going through your mind as I was teaching you that, I think over a phone call?
Yep. The group interview system was something that we really pushed back on in the beginning with kind of the mindset of we, quote unquote, need to find good people, not just kind of random people. And so we sat at Starbucks, I think, for like 8 hours and wasted a bunch of time and interviewed like 2 people that were
one-on-one?
horrible.
You did
one-on-one
for 8 hours
because we thought we were different. And now we do group interviews, and we kind of over time have increased the frequency. And now we do them every week, every Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
Oh, it's the best.
And it's something that so many businesses struggle with on, quote unquote, finding good people. But
we had a great person last week. Great person. You didn't meet the person. They were great. And by the way, this show's going to come out in October, so I can say great last week without getting myself in trouble here. Great person. And then they just sent a text message this morning, doing the whole, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I think, but we don't even care because we just hired 2 new people today. I'm sure you saw.
Yeah. I saw the new people today. I think it was this Thursday, right before I left to come up here for the conference. Had to part ways with someone, and it was so freeing to know that it's like, hey, we're not a good fit. Thanks for your time. But I know that today, Monday, we've got a new person who's starting training. So when you get to the point where you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to think about it, it's just something that's totally off your plate because you just have a system and process that kind of runs.
I love, too, when it scales, not really stressing out at all. I mean, zero stress. I love the idea that, you can replace them, you have candidates, but I love the stress-free nature of it because for a long time, I was building my DJ business. If I had one guy quit last minute, man, it would just stress me out.
Yeah, and about a week ago, my business partner and I, we were sitting there talking, and she was like, I think we're getting good, where we're kind of staffed. And I was like, yeah, but we're not going to stop because just in case. And then, like I said, last week, had to let someone go, and boom, we've already got someone filled that spot. No stress here.
Did the principle or the concepts, Jennifer, of the group interview all make sense to you? And did you have any questions about the group interview process?
I don't have any questions. If I've kind of pushed back, I haven't pushed back, but in my head thinking, I'm such a small business at this point. I only have 3 people on staff, so I'm trying to understand why I would do a group interview every week.
Yeah, well, let me walk you through that
concept. At first.
Let me walk you through this. Your business, Steve Jobs talked about, he says, the dynamic range between an A player and a C player can be like 10 times as much. So as an example, my consulting program consisted of me and like 40 clients for a long time. And it was very profitable. I enjoyed doing it, and it was great. I would charge a client $4,000 a month. It'd be me and the client, and then I would do the majority of the back-end work, and I had a very after selling DJConnection.com, I had a nice team, and then I hired John Kelly. You've met John, and there's probably only one John Kelly in the world of humanity. There's many idiosyncrasies that make this man wonderful, but I decided he was started off on our search engine team, and once I found John Kelly, I realized, hey, listen, we could scale the search engine program to beyond just my 40 clients. It could do more, but you need someone with that kind of integrity to do the check to make sure no one's copying content. You would need somebody with the kind of rigor needed to hold people accountable. And then I did that by myself with the 40 clients, but to grow at a certain point, you needed John Kelly. So then we expanded to where we had like 80 clients, and it was myself and John Kelly and a certain team.
And to speak to Jennifer's comment of only having 3 people, we were there obviously about 18 months ago.
Yep.
And I used to only do the group interview kind of once a month or kind of as needed.
Yep.
But then I still had just constant stress about someone quitting. It's like 1 of 3 quit. Now you just lost 33% of your
right.
workforce.
So that actually
So
happened
it's
to
like
me yesterday.
just group interview
Yeah.
and then every week. And then even if you don't hire someone, it's cool. And then if someone does quit, you've got just a whole list of good humans that are ready to go.
What you said is 100% correct, and just kind of hammering home the importance of the group interview when you're small is when John got really good and I gave him more tasks, then I thought, okay, right now, this is the biggest we can get with the current configuration. Well, then we started doing more group interviews, and Marshall, who's worked with me for a long, long time, Marshall's like, well, hey, I'd like to step up in this particular position, and I would like to help coach any additional coaches. If you want to grow that direction, I'll be happy to do that part and the group interview, because I'd done the group interview for the previous 12, 13 years, So I said, okay, so now you got Marshall doing the group interview. You got him coaching coaches. You got John over here managing the system. And again, you get to a certain point and you're like, we're good here. Well, then Ben out here, Amelia's husband, Ben says, hey, I really would like to, manage the team. And I'm like, you want to manage a team of search engine people? Are you sick? Are you crazy? Are you sure? And he decided to do that. And then that led to even more expansion. So what happens is great people, A players, allow you to elevate when you delegate. You can delegate, down tasks, and then you can elevate what you're spending your time on. But if it's always stuck with you and 2 people that are very good, let's say, or 3 that are very good, but they're not at the same level as you get kind of stuck.
Right.
And John is funny. In certain ways, he's been sort of my coach this year. So this crazy guy's like, hey, why don't we book such and such on the podcast? And I'm like, we probably should, but I don't have the time to do it. I don't have time to reach out to these people. And John's like, well, I know your method, so I can just do the method for you. And I'm going, there's nothing in the budget to pay you extra to book them. He's like, oh, I know, but don't worry about that. I'll just book them. So then over time, there's more and more, big guests on the show. And then John says, hey, if you didn't have to do ABC 1, 2, 3, how many books a month could you pump out? I was like, I could do 1 a month. And he's like, well, let's try it. So we've done 4 books this month that I had on my list for about 3 years because he's been able to take certain tasks from me. So I had, 4 books that we're pretty much 80% done. But in order to finish them, you got to focus. And John's been able to sort of look at my schedule and find that the 80% of the stuff I should not be spending my time doing, and it's been able to do that stuff so that way that I'm freed up to do what I do, which he knows ironically will pay him more actually, because as I'm able to do what I do, there's more things for him to do, and it's a win-win. Now, the other area of the conference I see a lot of people pushing back on is the whole idea of call recording or video recording surveillance in an office environment, in a retail environment or in a call center environment. Or Thomas, did you have any pushback on call recording and or surveillance?
I would say that's probably the one item that I didn't push back
Ooh.
much on. Yeah. But we do call recording. We use Ring Central. We do video and audio recording in our office with Nest. And it's another thing that's kind of freeing, where you don't have to kind of deal with the lies that team members will tell you, and you can just in front of them say, hey, let's pull the call, or hey, let's pull the video. Let's take a look, and we'll watch it together, and then we'll go from there. And
do you have people that have lied to you and said, hey, I definitely was on the phone, I was doing this, I was doing that, and then you found out they weren't even there?
Yep. Or I definitely was not vaping in the office.
It's just a natural smell.
Yeah, it just smells like nicotine all the time for some reason.
Cameras are super helpful. I actually found someone drinking out of the whiskey bottle.
Wow.
On the clock. Yeah, good. I didn't ever think I would
water.
Find that, but I found it on the camera just looking for something else. So
there it is.
Speaks truth.
So anything else, Thomas, that you saw at the conference that you thought, wow, that is a pushback area that maybe you used to have or that certain people have? Because I think once people learn how to hire people, once they learn how to market, once they learn accountability, things get so much easier once you learn these systems. Was there any other area that you saw at the conference that we covered that you thought, wow, I'm so glad we do that now, but maybe back in the day it was an area of pushback?
Yeah, I think two things. One is the kind of consistency mindset that you have to have in order to start and or grow a business, where you just stop thinking about what the ad says, or stop thinking about how much you're spending. Just automate it and set it and forget it. And you want to look back and see what the numbers are, make sure it's working, and make small tweaks as needed, but don't make an emotional decision every week of how much should I spend on ads, or should I do ads this week because business is up a little bit this week. Just do the ads and just don't change it. And then the other thing I thought was really interesting, and I don't hear it talked about too much on the podcast, and kind of opened my eyes to a good thing for some of the listeners out there, is if you don't have a business, the conference can still be and is super valuable for you. So I think there was 3 or 4 people that were at the conference that have a job currently, but they're looking to start their own business, and coming to the conference I think is a great idea for people to kind of start off on the right foot and understand what it takes to start and grow a business and how to do it the right way.
And although it is self-serving, to mention this, one of our Thrivetime Show guests we have on a lot is Matthew Klein with OxyFresh, and obviously I'm a big fan of OxyFresh, and I've worked with them over the years. But with like OxyFresh as an example, one of the attendees came to the conference, and they can't buy an OxyFresh because we're sold out in their area.
That's
and
right.
They were saying, well, what other kind of business could we do? And once you come to the conference, you're going to know what kind of business you could handle, what kind of business you couldn't handle. And there's a lot of great franchise opportunities out there, which is why we've decided to help you franchise your business, Full Package Media here, hopefully in 2020.
Yep.
That's the goal.
That is the goal.
If somebody were to go out there and buy a full package, they go to fullpackagemedia.com, and you can't sell one right now, but in the future when the franchises are available, why do you think a Full Package Media might be a good franchise opportunity for somebody?
Yeah, I think a Full Package Media is a great opportunity for a lot of different people out there, regardless of what your kind of situation is in life or with different family dynamics, whatever it is. I think it's a great opportunity to have some time freedom and financial freedom, because we're, as a franchisor, going to take a lot of the stuff off the plate. So we're going to handle all the calls for you. We're going to handle the sales. We're going to handle the ad management. We're going to handle all the editing, all the post-production, all the customer service. So it's really your job where you're out and about, you're meeting great people, mostly residential real estate agents, and shooting, kind of capturing that content, and then we're handling all the post-production and booking appointments on your calendar and setting those appointments for you to make money.
So you're saying if somebody buys a Full Package Media, essentially all they're going to have to do is to actually take the photos, take the videos.
Yep.
And then train someone else to take the photos and the videos?
Yeah, group interview, hire people, fire people as needed, do quality assurance on all the media that you do, and then just meet and kind of develop relationships with realtors.
So if I owned a full package, basically I would wake up every day, I'd have a schedule filled with shoots.
Correct.
I go shoot those shoots, then I upload the content to you, and your team edits them.
Yep.
And you
Overnight,
answer
we're
the
done.
phone to book the appointments.
That's right.
So all I have to do is hire people and train people.
Correct. Yeah,
That's it.
You'll never have to respond to customer service calls, sales inquiries, emails from customers, even complaints. We'll handle all that for you.
All right. Now, the consistency mindset there, Jennifer, talk to me about that and how you keep yourself motivated as you're growing your business.
I've always, had my eye on the ball. I did go through a period when we first opened. I really wasn't anticipating the success that we would have right away. So I spent a lot of time just trying to stay above water. And then when I finally got that under control, I decided to, take it to the next level. And that's when I sought out the coaching and really going into the next phase with a plan. And also, I don't want to do the next chapter like I did the first chapter, where I had to figure things out the hard way. So the coaching program is, educating me so to the conference on what to expect, at different steps that I may not be at that level yet, but I do plan on getting there. So having that knowledge ahead of time and going into it more prepared, I think will get me further faster. But motivation is, hasn't really been a big issue for me. I'm typically pretty self-motivated, but having a coach definitely keeps you on track because, you're in communication all the time. And
Right.
that definitely, I have to have a personal trainer. I want to work out and I'll show up at the gym, but I'm not going to push myself to that next level. I just go do it and I check it off my list. So
I think a coach is like having a great partner too, because you get to be right. So, I mean, you get to ask for feedback. You know, a lot of times you have a partnership where it's 50-50, and maybe the two parties can't agree, and it ends up in this discord, and there's that passive aggressiveness. But I love in a coaching meeting, every time I've ever had a coach in my life, in my businesses, it's great that you have someone you can bounce ideas off of. But you know, if you absolutely don't agree, you can decide what you want to decide. And I like, to your detriment sometimes, but you can decide that.
Right.
Now, we had a Thriver that emailed in a question, and I thought we would take some time, about 15 minutes here, to break this down, because she was talking about at the conference, the epiphany she had was that there's a big difference between formal education and practical education, like a huge difference between formal and practical. And so I thought I would go over with the listeners the differences between formal education and practical education, because I think right away when you hear of a conference, you might think of formal education. So step number one, if you're out there scoring at home, and I know you are there, you say step number one for getting rich. Step one for getting rich. This is step one. Determine your goals for what rich looks like. You know, determine your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, your fun. I mean, really sit down and write that down. What are your goals for your faith? When are you going to, practice your faith every week? Your family. Like tonight, I'm playing my kids 1-on-5 basketball. The basketball goal is now in the pool.
Okay.
My daughter has a sweet shot. She's 14. My son's pretty good, but Havana can just shoot from anywhere. But my goal tonight is to beat the kids.
There you go.
And if I win, they don't get any ice cream. Now, if they win, they all get ice cream. So my goal is to make sure they don't get ice cream. I'm defending team diet here. They, though, want that ice cream. And is there something exciting about going home and knowing that about 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, I will be destroying my kids?
There you go.
And we got the oldest is 14, then you got a 12. You got a 9-year-old, you got some 7-year-olds. I want to whip up on them. I do. But there's something liberating and exciting about having a goal. A goal for your faith. I listened to Craig Rochelle's sermon this week, the pastor of Life Church. There's just something beautiful about crossing off the to-do list, going, boom. I like that. And then finances. I love going and checking on the bank statement and seeing it go up every week. That's fun. There's just something fun about the financial goal. Fitness. There's something that feels great when you're on a path and you're following a path. You're making progress. Friendships. There's something great about being around great people only. I mean, there's just something wonderful about being around people who choose to see the positive side of life. Even if they're going through something, I just love being around people that choose to see betterness and not bitterness. And then there's something great about setting goals for your fun. Now, I don't know that any of these things are discussed in college, because I went to college, and maybe your college experience was different, Thomas, but when you were going to Baylor, did you ever have a professor sit down and say, guys, the entire purpose of this program is to help you gain practical skills so you can go out there and pay some practical bills that are caused by you living the life you want? Did any professor ever say the purpose of going to this school is to learn how to make enough money so you can achieve your goals? Did anybody ever talk about that?
No, definitely not. I don't even think college goals were well defined, and certainly no kind of actionable steps scheduled to attain those goals. It was kind of more of everything general, so that you can get out of school and get a general job in whatever, and just kind of live a general life that is lame.
It's interesting, but there is an article written by Suzanne Lucas, and she's talking about, it's called Why Your Barista Probably Has a College Degree. And this article is explaining that there are more and more baristas that have a college degree. Jennifer, in your mind, how is it possible for someone to graduate with a college degree and to have no idea how to optimize a website, have no idea how to sell anything, have no idea how to manage people, have no idea how to do marketing for a business? How is that possible?
Well, I didn't know you went to Baylor, Thomas. So did I. I went to Baylor.
Sick 'em.
I did not finish. I ended up having my daughter early, but I tell everyone I've always been someone, I've always sought personal development and education, but what I was learning at Baylor for an obscene amount of money was not anything that I could actually apply in life. So I will say I got about 10% of my education from Baylor and 90% from Barnes & Noble. That's back before podcasts, but that's
right.
Truly where I developed my business skills and where I learned, how to manage money and how to manage people. And
it's so interesting whether I have an ophthalmologist or a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer or a retail store owner or everybody I have on the show who has a degree always says, I met some good people. Got some sweatshirts to prove I went there, but I didn't learn anything that I use on a practical basis. Now, here's a little fun factoid for you. When I say fun, I mean this is kind of a not fun fact, but you put kind of a spin on it here. The latest student loan debt statistics for 2019, according to Forbes, show how serious the student loan debt crisis has become for borrowers all across the United States. There are now more than 44 million borrowers who collectively owe $1.5 trillion in student debt. In the U.S. alone, student loan debt is now the second highest debt behind only mortgages.
Wow.
Think about that.
And that's crazy because they say it as a problem as the debt. No, the problem is that too many people are going to college and not learning anything.
Now think about this for a second. Jennifer, when you bought a house, or Thomas, if you go out and buy a house, or you got a loan to buy a car or something, you ever heard of this concept called the appraisal?
Yes.
And they usually look at the house and say, oh, it's cool, Jennifer, you want to buy that for $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 or whatever. It's cool you want to buy that car for $30,000, but how much is it actually worth? And the bank will only lend you a little bit less than what it's worth, because in the event that you can't make your payments, Thomas, what does the bank do to your property?
Take it and sell it.
So why don't they have appraisals for degrees? If someone wants to study history at Oral Roberts University, currently it's $41,000 a year.
Well, if they did that, then there'd be a lot of unemployed college professors.
Right. Now, if you went to the University of Tulsa, it's $59,435. So imagine you sit down with a student and you say, hey, what do you want to study? And they say, history. You go, okay. Well, you take $60,000 roughly per year at Tulsa University. That's $59,435 times 4 years. Well, you're going to be out $240,000. And as a history teacher, the most you're going to make out the gate is X amount. They would simply not offer that degree anymore because nobody would ever get that degree. So step one is write out your goals. Step two, determine what it costs for you to achieve those goals. That's where I see a lot of people getting it wrong. Determine what it costs for you to achieve those goals. So as an example, I want to watch every Patriots game. I'm blacked out right now, though, for the preseason.
Yeah.
And I've watched all the highlights, but it's an abomination. But to watch the games, it's like $120 a month or something for NFL Direct Ticket and the whole cable apparatus. And all I ever watch is that. So my family will laugh because it's never on except when they play. But that's $120 a month to watch my guys. So that's 16 games a year. Then we go to the playoffs usually. So I got 20 games a year. You know what I mean? 20 games a year for, we'll just call it, let's say $1,200. Let's say it's $120 times 12 months. So I'm paying $14.40 to watch my 20 games. So I'm paying per game $72 a game. That's cool. That's a great deal in my opinion. But that's what I want to do. Therefore, I have to be able to earn enough money to pay for that.
Yep.
But what's sad is when people don't factor that in when they go and get a degree, and now they have a job that pays them, $72, let's say. No, well, they get about $72 a day, and they're working about 5 days a week, and they're going, okay, I make $450 a week, barista, out of college, and I have a degree. Now, when you try to make those student loan payments, you can see why so many students are defaulting, because they're now making $72 a day as a barista using a degree. And that's an abomination right there. Thomas, think about this. 72 times 5. That's 360. Yes, they're probably making about $100 a day as a barista right now.
Yeah, it's hard when you have on your earlier math a $240,000 loan payment.
You're making $12.50 an hour, and you got a huge payment. Wouldn't you rather have a house payment?
Exactly.
Yeah. Or I think back to starting my business with literally $0, and if I would have had the money that I spent on college to start my business, it probably would have gone so much better, so much quicker.
And there's this bunk that is sold at college. It says you meet the best of friends. Now, again, if you're out there and you're your best friend, you met him in college, that is great. And if you have friends from college, that's great too. But let me tell you what, my wife's very, very good friend, her name is Heather. She loves Heather. She thinks Heather's great. We watched Beaches last night. That's the Tearathon. We watched Beaches, and and her and Heather used to watch that a lot. Well, Heather's great. My wife didn't meet her in college, you know. And Thomas, you're a great guy. I've known you for 3 years. I didn't meet you on a college campus.
That's correct.
I don't know. No, John Kelly out there pretty well. Didn't meet him on a college campus. I feel like we're getting to become friends with Jennifer. Didn't meet her on a college campus. I feel like there's this jackassery that says that the only way you can meet people is in your formative years of college, because I find that people change a lot during college, and they're not the same person when they get out as they were. And I find very few people stay in touch with college friends.
I'm not in touch with any of my college friends.
Yep.
This is what I've discovered, though. I think if they were to say college is where you meet the, and you had to fill in the blank, where you meet the people you'll never talk to again.
Yeah, the people you talk to for during college, maybe for a little bit, and then that's it.
And a lot of colleges is like this forced expectation of let's have a beer. There's sort of that false expectation of let's have a beer. Did you not go to college and experience that sophomore year where it's like, hey, we got to go get a beer?
Oh, yeah.
Like every meal, it's like we got to get a beer. Like at every moment, like we got to get a beer.
That's true.
And then when you get out in the real world and you own a business, it's probably the last thing you're thinking, like, let's go get a beer. You're like, I got to go places.
Yep, that never crosses my mind.
Yeah. So again, I just think that the guys who are like the college celebrities too are almost always the ones that can't get a job.
Yep, they're the baristas.
That's right. That's the guy with all the beer.
That's it.
All right. Now, step 3, if you want to get rich, you got to write out a list of problems that you plan on solving in exchange for the amount of compensation you're seeking. Again, write out a list of problems that you plan on solving in exchange for the amount of compensation you're seeking. So I'll have Jennifer share with us about the problem she solves. Thomas, I'll have you share about the problems that you solve. I've got some problems that we could solve. I'm hungry. So yesterday, I went to Chipotle. I paid them because I was hungry. It's incredible. I didn't have to make it myself. I paid them. Yes.
Wow.
So that's a company. I paid for the solution. That's called a product or a service. People don't want to cut their own grass. So yesterday, I paid someone to cut the grass. I come home and it smells like, fresh grass being cut. It's a Sunday. My businesses are off on a Sunday. His business is on a Sunday. Great. The pool guy. I love my pool guy. Never met my pool guy. The guy's doing all the pool maintenance. Never met that guy.
That's perfect.
I love that guy. We got a good relationship going. Never seen him. See the truck leave with the pool stuff in it, the pool guy leaving. Paid the pool guy because I don't want to maintain my water pH levels, right? I just want to hop in the pool. Splashy splash. I don't want to be thinking about what are my pH levels. Somebody says, well, Clay, you could save a lot of money by learning about the acidity of water.
I think it'd be very dangerous to have you in charge of
Yeah, I know.
Pool chemicals.
I don't want to haul off hay. Behind my house, we got a lot of hay, a lot of, I pay someone to do that.
What happened to Aubrey? He get fired from mowing?
There's a lot back there, bro.
Mm.
It's getting wild. He's just a young man.
It's a bigger mower.
Yeah, it's crazy. People don't want to walk their dogs. There's a company now called
Wag.
Wag. Yeah. And they will come and walk your dog for you, kind of like Uber for dog
Uber
walking.
For dogs.
People want to get from A to B, but maybe they don't have a car with them. So Jennifer, you used Uber today, right?
I did. I've used Uber this whole trip.
See, that's okay. People in country clubs want someone to hand them hand soap, which I don't understand at all.
That's weird.
Have you seen that, Thomas?
I hate it. It's uncomfortable.
Have you been to places like that?
I have.
Have you been to places like that, Jennifer?
I have not. I don't get out much.
It's like a wedding, and there's like a guy
I
who
encourage
doesn't talk
you-
and stands in the bathroom.
I encourage you one time in your life, find a way to get to a country club and
I've
just
heard
watch
about it.
it's
I've heard.
I can't believe it's a real job, but there's somebody who
offers
who-
you a mint.
there's someone who's dressed like you, looking sharp. If you're in the men's restroom, it's usually a guy. Women, but they're dressed up and they're like, "Would you like a mint?"
Yes.
I've never had that thought of like, yeah. I mean, I don't even know how to talk to that person, and they're just in there waiting for you. They don't leave the room when you're in there. They're just
Strange.
waiting. Like, would you like some mouthwash?
Probably with a college degree.
Right. Would you
so.
like? Would you like? There you go. Would you like some soap? Now, people in country clubs, though, turns out they have enough money. They want to pay someone else to hand them soap. I wonder if country clubs are going to roll out a guy that feeds you soon.
No, that could be a move.
All right. And then people want to shoot compelling marketing videos. Turns out, Thomas, real estate agents, they want to. Why would a real estate agent pay you to shoot photography and videography over there at Full Package Media as opposed to doing it themselves?
So most of what we do is very high quality, a lot higher quality than they could do on their own, and it's also saving them time So they could go out and buy a nice camera. They could invest in the time to learn and train on how to do it, but instead they can just pay us. We knock it out for them. Very kind of one-stop shop for them.
You know, people when they get gasoline, like backup gasoline, they typically don't want to put the gasoline in like a cup. They don't want to put it in their pocket. They don't want to put it in their hand. They want to put it into a container.
True.
And I met the guy who invented the red gas can. Turns out he's rich.
I bet.
Why? Everyone has a gas container for emergencies. It's a move. Also, this just in, Thomas, most people don't want to cut their own hair. And because they don't, we are able to charge them for their haircuts over at Elephant in the Room. They don't cover these things at college at all. It's like at college we're fascinated with learn things that nobody cares about.
That's true.
It seems like okay, so now that you know about papyrus, what problem can you solve?
None.
Thomas, remember that one time that I said to you, God, I can't find my pencil or my pen or my Etch-a-Sketch or my computer or a calculator or my phone or any other writing device at all. Where is the papyrus? And you said, I got it.
Yep. Back pocket.
And I said, hey, do you know cuneiform? And you go, yes, I do. I mean, seriously, no one cares about your vast knowledge of things that don't matter.
That's correct.
So I think it should be criminal to teach these things personally, but we continue. So step 3, write out a list of the problems that you can solve. Jennifer, what are the problems that you solve at your business?
Well, we offer online. We do a lot of business online, and we have our market is typically busy moms, busy running kids around and working, and so we sell online, we ship. Also, a lot of people have trouble putting things together. So our staff will help you. You know, you can send a picture of your room, your wall, and we can help you piece it all together and save you from having to pay like a designer to come out and tell you what to do. So we'll kind of do like an in-store, like one-on-one consult with you.
And what kind of products do you sell? Is it so home decor, gifts? I mean, what are some of the things you can find in your store?
Home decor, gifts, furniture. I mean, everything from pillows to wall hangings, signs, some handmade, like I said, some manufactured, kitchen items. For every room in the house, we have a lot of bathroom humor signs.
Oh, really?
Those are great.
Really?
Yeah.
And what and what is your website again?
ShopLegacyDecor.com.
And I don't want to paint you into a corner, but can you, we're trying to picture this here. We've all mentally gone to our restroom. What are some of the bathroom humor signs or maybe just so we get kind of a mental picture here?
One of them says, no selfies in the bathroom.
What's another one?
Another one says, text me if you run out of toilet paper. I know you're on your phone.
What's another one?
There's another one that gives the bathroom like a 4.5-star rating.
All right, that's Tim Johnson's laugh there. That's a gift. What is there? One more? Is there one more you can think of?
One more. Let me think.
Okay, here we go.
So many.
Here we go. We're going back to we're pondering. What better way to make your bathroom echo and to be funny than by calling our good friend over here, Miss Jennifer? And again, what was that website one more time?
ShopLegacyDecor.com.
You like that, Thomas, don't you?
That's great.
Oh, it's impressive. I want to have that sound clip I said at funerals. That way, if a funeral ever gets kind of really down.
Just hit that action button there.
Dr. Timothy Johnson, our ophthalmologist client, has perfected the art of laughing.
That's good.
And did you see how at the conference he was asking questions that appeared on our whiteboard while not being at our conference?
That's wow.
Did you see that?
That's special.
He's texting Justin Wren, and Justin Wren's putting up questions on the board that I know pertain only to him.
That's awesome.
That's impressive. That's sneaky. Okay, so now we talk about, so step number 3, you write out a list of the problems that you can solve. Now, if you already have a business, write a list of all the problems you can continue solving. What are other problems you can solve? At the end of the day, you get paid to solve problems. So what are other problems that you could solve for your existing customers? That's a powerful thought. Now, at college, I pulled up the curriculum here for Oral Roberts University, some of the general ed classes. And Jennifer, I would just like for you, I know you went to Baylor, but this is Oral Roberts University where my wife and I went. And I'd like for you to share with me if you ever use these particular skills at your job right now, okay? Art History Survey 3.
No.
Okay, that didn't go well, so that's okay. What about Advanced Ceramics?
No. I look at ceramics, but I don't know how to make ceramics.
Advanced Sculpture?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Biblical Greek?
No.
Biblical Greek 2? New Testament introduction.
I took New Testament. Haven't used it at work anyways.
Jewish civilization.
No.
Hermeneutics, principles of biblical interpretation.
Negative.
Hebrew exegesis.
Oh, no. The word Hebrew is in one of our signs. It says that men are supposed to make coffee because God said he brews.
Nice,
There you
nice.
go.
There we go. Tim Johnson.
Here we go.
All right, so here we go. Now you've got Human Ecology Laboratory. Do you ever use that?
No.
Thomas, what about this one? Do you ever? Okay, here we go. Senior paper. Do you ever write big papers in business?
Nope.
Have you noticed
been a
have you
while.
noticed in college they want you to write a big paper, and in business they want you to write a small, pithy paragraph?
Yep. That's so true.
Banks hate large proposals, and business people do too. Seriously, if an employee gave you a 25-page document, wouldn't you almost be irritated, Thomas?
They have, and I have been irritated.
What about travel study, Thomas? Do you ever use that?
Nope.
Phonetics and conversation?
Nope.
Team ministry?
No.
None of that? You wouldn't use any of this stuff? What about, okay, how about this? Well, augmentation and persuasion, theory and practice.
Nope.
What about, I'm just trying to, there's so many non-practical, I mean, this whole page is filled with things that I've never, quantitative literacy,
It seems like it doesn't even make sense.
music therapy. How's that a thing? How is this a thing? This is a thing. And your parents out there listening, if you want to get $59,000 a year in debt, what better way to get in debt than by having your kids take classes that don't apply at all? How is it possible? Now Peter Thiel couldn't be here today because he was rejecting me yet again. But Peter Thiel, one of the early investors of Facebook, worth over $1 billion, writes, pretty harsh here. He says, university administrators are now the equivalent of subprime mortgage brokers, selling you a story that you should go massively into debt. And it's not a consumption decision. It's an investment decision. Actually, no, it's a bad consumption decision. Most colleges are just 4-year parties. Peter Thiel. Oof. So step 4, I'd ask yourself this as we wrap up today's show. Ask yourself, do you need a degree to solve those problems? Do you now need a degree to solve those problems? Don't say, I have a degree, now what problems can I solve? Don't do that game. Don't get it mixed up. Figure out what problems you can solve, and then say, what do I need a degree to solve these problems? And if I do, what degree do I need? So, yeah, you need a degree to become a doctor. Yes, you need a degree to become a lawyer. You betcha. You need a degree to become a dentist, etc. But Napoleon Hill defines an educated man as a man who is, well, he says an educated man is one who has so developed the faculties of his mind that he or she may require anything that she or he wants or its equivalent without violating the rights of others. Henry Ford comes well into the meaning of this definition. Henry Ford, who did poorly in school, but yet was educated. Albert Einstein chimes in a little bit more feisty than Napoleon Hill. Albert Einstein writes, by the way, Albert Einstein's the only reason we're not speaking German now. He developed the nuclear bomb and all the theories needed to make it happen, and he created the sense of urgency for President FDR to start the Manhattan Project, which created atomic energy that we use today, and we used to blow up the Germans because they were going to drop the atomic bomb on us. They were developing it, so we developed this bomb to drop on the Germans, but instead we dropped it on the Japanese first, and they said, hey, we're good. We're good. And we said, you want us to drop it again over there, Mr. Hitler? And anyway, so we didn't have to do it there. But Albert Einstein writes, the only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Oof, that's brutal, but true.
So true.
Another gentleman here chimes in. I have so many of them. Napoleon Hill says, action is the real measure of intelligence. So I'm going to read off a list of 76 people that didn't have a degree that's changed the world. So the guy who invented the modern banking system, A.P. Giannini, no degree after dropping out of high school. Check that out. Number 2, you've got the world's wealthiest man during his lifetime, Andrew Carnegie, dropped out of middle school. Person number 3, U.S. President Andrew Jackson became an attorney despite being homeschooled. He passed the bar having no formal education. 4, the Princess of the Princels, Aunt Byler, Auntie Annie's, or Auntie Annie's if you're from Minnesota. She started the business without graduating from college. All right. Number 5, one of the world's top photographers, Ansel Adams, no degree. Ansel Adams, no degree. Number 6, The former CEO of Paramount and the CEO of Fox, no degree, Barry Diller. Number 7, the favorite polymath everybody loves, Benjamin Franklin, no degree, despite having dropped out of high school, became one of the founding fathers. The billionaire boss who founded Clear Channel Media, no degree, Red McCombs. Billionaire Billy, Bill Gates, Microsoft, no degree after dropping out of college. The power of perfume, Coco Chanel, no degree. The captain of the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders, no degree, dropped out of school at just the age of 13. The founder of Wendy's, Dave Thomas, no degree. The co-founder of DreamWorks, Jeffrey Katzman, David Geffen. David Geffen has no college degree. Number 14, the man whose passion was more than just a hobby, David Green, Hobby Lobby, no degree. Started Hobby Lobby with $600. David Karp, no degree. Started Tumblr. David Orick Vacuum, no degree. Debbie Fields, Mrs. Fields Chocolate Factory, Chocolate Chippery, no degree. DeWitt Wallace, the founder of Reader's Digest, no degree. What? The guy who writes Reader's Digest? Yes. Dustin Muscovich, one of the co-founders of Facebook, worth $13.4 billion, no degree. The guy who reinvented the way that we do architecture, Frank Lloyd Wright, architect, no degree. The man who makes the world's best engines, Frederick Henry Royce, no degree. George Eastman, this is the guy who's one of the premier developers of photography, no degree. Wayne Huizenga, the guy who started Blockbuster Video, owned the Miami Dolphins, the Florida Panthers, no degree. Henry Ford, the guy who modernized the automobile, no degree. And I could keep reading, but I'm going to put all the show notes on the all these people on today's show notes, because you talk about IKEA, the guy who started IKEA, Ingvar Kamprad, no degree. James Cameron, the world's #1 movie producer, no degree. We're talking about industry changers here, no degree. Jimmy Iovine, the guy who launched Interscope Records, no degree. John D. Rockefeller, who created rubber and modernized the oil refinery industry, no degree. We could read this list all day, but the point is the people that change things, as a general rule, don't have a degree. Now, if you have a degree, here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to unlearn a lot of stuff. So, Jennifer, I'll let you and Thomas have the final word, but you're both educated people. You've gone to college more than I have, at least. What is maybe one thing you had to unlearn that maybe you were taught in formal education that you've had to unlearn, whether it be at the conference or through the podcasts or through reading or through Barnes & Noble? What is maybe one thing you've had to unlearn?
Really, I don't remember learning too much at all at Baylor, just because I didn't go very long before I realized it just wasn't going to help me, knowing that I wanted to be an entrepreneur at some point.
Got it.
So I never really went down that path. I felt like it was a false sense of security that I just didn't want to keep racking up the debt for.
Okay, so Thomas, what is something you've had to unlearn that maybe you learned at college and you thought, okay, this is how life works, and then you realized, that's not how life works?
Yeah, my degree was in athletic training, sports medicine, so very science-based. So a lot of that was research and making sure everything was perfect before it was put into practice. And I've learned that, had to unlearn that, and with business, it's more about doing. Define, act, measure, refine is kind of the way to do it, and that's so much quicker and saves money and saves time instead of it. If you own a business and you try to wait until everything's perfect, then you'll never go or grow anywhere.
That's good. So you're saying you learned the rhythm of entrepreneurship: define, act, measure, refine. You can define what you think is going to work, act, take action.
Yep.
Action is the real measure of intelligence, according to Napoleon Hill. And then measure. Measure, is it working? Is it working? Is it working? Right. And then refine it, but never stop.
Correct.
Don't wait for perfect.
And if you wait for perfect, you're going to wait forever.
Hey, Jennifer, I appreciate you visiting us from Houston. I know you have a flight to catch.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
and I appreciate the conference. It was super helpful, and I'm going to be coming back, and I'm probably going to bring some of my team with me when I come.
Would you encourage the listeners out there to come to a conference?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely I would. I learned a lot. It was really mind-blowing. I mean, the second day by like 9 a.m., I was like, wow, okay, I have a lot more knowledge, even having listened to every single podcast there was.
Yeah.
Still learned so much in 2 days that I'm going to be able to take back with me and be a better business person because of it.
Something's magical when you can actually ask a question Because sometimes you listen to the podcast and you kind of get it. You're almost there, but you're like, I don't understand that one thing.
Right.
Can
yeah.
I
And
ask
I had
a
a few
question?
of those. I had a few of those. I came with notes on some things, and I held them to see if they were covered in the conference, and they were. And if I had any further questions, then I was able to ask them during the conference. So I'm not walking away with a list of questions like I was when I got here.
Thomas, I appreciate you, my friend. For anybody out there who's contemplating attending a Thrivetime Show workshop, what say you, my friend? You have the final word about whether we should attend a Thrivetime Show conference or not, or why we should or shouldn't.
Yeah, I would say just make it a priority. Just schedule it. Things that get scheduled get done. So just put it on the calendar. Go to thrivetimeshow.com and see when the next one is. Probably October. Is the next one?
Well, this one here, we're going to air this show October 22nd.
Okay, so
I think.
December.
So, yeah, probably December.
Every 2 months, they have one. So I would just go. Just make it happen. If you can't afford it, then they'll usually work something out with you. So I would just go. Make it a priority. Make it a rock in your life, in your schedule, to get there. There's so much value, and it doesn't matter what stage of your business you're in. Even if you don't have a business, like I mentioned earlier, or if you have a business that's been around for 20 years, but you're waiting to get to the next level, or you're trying to get kind of more out of the business and kind of more passive. No matter where you're at, there's something there that's valuable for you.
How old are you?
26.
Do you remember what it felt like to have $100,000 in your account for the first time?
It was pretty kind of unreal.
When you hit $200,000, did your head explode? Did you go buy a bunch of burritos?
I did it. Barbecue.
As you get closer or got to $300,000, what happened in your mind?
We're getting there. It's it keeps going up and up, so it's a good problem to have.
I'm just trying to say out there, if you're listening out there, the average American has less than $400 saved. And how old are you again?
26.
And let me tell you what, this guy has got. He's 26 years old. So he probably has half as many years of experience as half of our listeners. I mean, a lot of our listeners are 50,
Right.
45. And if a 26-year-old man can diligently implement the plan and get at least $200,000 stacked up in a bank account somewhere, right?
Yeah, and
that you
it's,
pay taxes on.
And if you are 50, if you're 60, it's not too late. I see plenty of people at the conference.
Yep.
Who Clay Stairs is a perfect example. He was a teacher for years and years and years. Became a millionaire through quitting teaching and becoming a public speaker.
He did not become a client of mine, I think until he was like 47.
Yeah, so it's not too, no matter where you're at in life, how old you are.
Yep.
There's always something to do, some problem that you can solve. There was a police officer that was here, and he was like, I don't have a business. I'm interested in starting something. And I think in about 3 minutes, you kind of laid out a whole path for him that he could probably make.
Well, I thought about it all night.
A couple $100,000.
I thought about it all night. I was thinking, like, what can this guy do part-time on the side? What's something? And so I sketched it. I laid it out in 3 minutes, but I lost like 3 hours of sleep thinking about that guy. So that was a problem. But hopefully we helped him.
Patrick's protection something?
Yeah, Patrick is his name, though. His
Yep.
son won the TV.
He did.
His son got the big TV. So big shout out to Patrick. Big shout out to you, Thomas. Big shout out to Jennifer. And we like to end each and every show with a boom. And so now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom. Stop what you're doing and think about this for a second. What would happen if your company was suddenly able to generate exponentially more quality sales leads? That would be incredible. What would happen if your company came up at the top or near the top of the Google search engine results? Well, I would just feel overwhelmed with all that business. How many thousands of dollars in lost sales or millions of dollars in lost sales are you missing out on simply because your potential customers can't find you when they go online to search for the products and services that you offer? I refuse to think that thought because I don't want any more business. Unless you are a dirty communist that hates money, my new book, Search Engine Domination, will help you grow your business. In my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate the search engine results. What do you mean by dominate? You see, in my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate search engine results. Download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com. I repeat, that's thebestseobook.com.
My name is Amy Baltimore, and I am a CPA in Covington, Tennessee. I've been working with the Thrive team now for about a year. One of the first things that they did was to update my website and my search engine optimization. I prior had a website, but I was not being found on Google, and all of my new business was coming through referrals from friends, family, etc. And right away I started to see results. People were calling and coming in saying that they found me on Google. They just Googled CPA near me, and there I was at the top of the page. And so it's been a great help to my business.
Again, you can download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com.
Hey, this is Dustin Huff. I'm with Keystone Harbor Marina. We joined Thrive back in January and have been working with these guys for about 7 months. During that time period, we have moved up our Google rank through reviews and SEO processes that we've compiled through these guys. Our leads have gone from about 4 a week to now 165 a week. So the process works. I will tell you from experience, once you begin, you have to stay with it. As long as you continually do this week in and week out, month in and month out, you'll continually grow.
The system works, but nothing works unless you do. You've got to take some action. Download the ebook for free today at thebestseobook.com.
Hello, my name is Daniel with Daniel's Heating and Air here in Amarillo, Texas. The way Google has affected my business, we have got a lot of calls from Google. Right now it's July and we've had the best month ever. And it took us about 8 to 10 months to get on top of Google, and I'm glad we did.
Remember, nothing works unless you do. You have to go to thebestseobook.com today. Download the ebook for free. Just download that ebook for free, and you'll be off to the races.
Hi, my name is Christina Nemus. I'm the owner and operator of Angel's Touch Auto Body and Detailing in Bourne, Massachusetts. We have been working with Thrive and their coaching for, say, 8 to 9 months, and it took us about 6 months, 5 to 6 months to get on the top of Google, and with their help with the website and marketing, and the SEO and retargeting ads with Google, and it has been phenomenal. We just have light and day business coming in, phone calls coming in, walk-ins, referrals. It's just through the roof, and we couldn't be happier. At the moment, we are up 50% this year from the previous year, and not only is that part of our own hard work and diligence, but also with the help of Thrive and what they've done for us and getting us on the top of Google and, you know, all their knowledge and coaching. And yeah, so super grateful, super pumped to see what the future holds for all of us. Thank you.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. I'm here to tell you, you can do it if you can just motivate yourself. 12 the masses had to cut off a few, so on the daily you and I could rendezvous. A misshapen tree that I had to prune. I had to make cuts to be here daily at noon. So like a tidal wave, a knowledge monsoon, I could rain on the parades of those who doubt in you. Are you the next Rockefeller or the next guru, or the next Dr. King who's changing the rules? Walls are in your way, will you run right through? Like a running back, forth the one, it's up to you. I remember my days back in the dorm room, tuned to the gloom like the temple of doom, overwhelmed with the doubts that try to consume my hope for the future that I could pursue. But from the mountaintop now I can conclude that you have what it takes if you want the view to.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time. It's your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
This moment is profound cause you're above the ground. Your road might have been rough, but what you got now is now. We're here to pick you up and to even show you how, but you gotta be resourceful with that old plow. Started from the bottom, but I worked my way up, cause by 4 a.m. I've always been prayed up. Rise and grind as your time, don't dare let up. You gotta get it, don't quit it till your seeds grow up.
This is your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find.
Yes.
Today is your day,
Somebody say,
and now is your time.
it's your time.
It's your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find. Today is your day, and And now is your time.
It's your time. We all have a wish and we all want to win, but we cannot begin without self-discipline. If you fall on your face, get yourself up again. Attach yourself to goals, not fail with the friends. When the storms get rough and they scatter and leave, you only be there with yourself and what you believe. We believe in you, but not as much as God does. If you're going through hell, He's got nothing but love. Apply what you learn, increase what you earn, and in due time you have money to burn.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you burn, and in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you burn, in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned,
Sing it.
increase what you burn.
Yes.
In due time you got money to
With this biblical miracle, I look to shout down the doubters, kill the weeds that be killing your dream flowers, empower you to devour all the obstacles that make your sweet dreams sour. As for me, I used to stutter, but now I'm on the microphone smooth like butter. If I can do it, I know you can too, but you must stick to it like postage do. And while Merton's on the chorus, singing what he sings, I encourage you to dream big dreams.
Today is your day.
Today's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
This is your year to thrive.
Sing it, sing it.
Success you will find. Today is your day.
It's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
Today is your day.
Come on.
And now is your time.
Sing it, Martin.
Today is your day. Now is your time.
I realize I can't sing like that, but I can talk and play the woodblock. Okay. If you guys need me, I'll just be over here.